Welcome to our new permanent TSB Ideal Home Show video series, Meet the Experts. Our 3 episodes will cover home inspiration and offer expert guidance with special guests. Today we'll be discussing spring home decluttering and organisation, and I would love to welcome our experts Olive O'Donovan, MD and founder of the Organised Store in Dundrum, and Kim Fitzgerald, one half of Decluttering Queen's Assorted Affair. Before we start the discussion, a quick reminder that the spring show is on from Friday 21st to Sunday 23rd of April at the RDS Simmons Court, and it promises to be a fantastic show packed with advice, home inspiration and so much more. There is an early bird offer of 2 free adult tickets for the day of your choice, but this is only available for a limited time, so make sure you get your ticket at idealhome.ie. So today's topic is spring home decluttering and organisation. The Organised Store in Dundrum is a one-stop shop for achieving complete home zen with accessories and essentials to help you reorganise and restore order to your abode, while Assorted Affair has become Ireland's go-to duo for Instagram-worthy decluttering services. Kim and Olive, you are so welcome here today. And look, this is a topic that I think has never been more relevant, because over the last few years, our homes have had to work as our home gym, our home office, our creche, everything. So the value of having a really organised home, I think, has never been more important. And I'm sure both of you would agree. So I'd love to start there. How do you think that attitudes to having an organised home have maybe changed over the last few years? Olive, I might start with you.
Sure. I think very positively. I think, if anything, storage and organisation is taken more seriously. I think it started with Monica and Friends, where she was a clean, neat freak, and everyone else who was the Monica in the house, and that was certainly me in my house. I'm guessing it was you, Kim, in your house. And then more recently with Marie Kondo and the cleaning up and decluttering and letting go of items that don't make you happy and holding on to items that do make you happy. So that was very important. More recently with the Netflix, the Home Edit series. So I know certainly in our case we work with a lot of architects and interior decorators all over the country, and they would say, storage, organisation, home is a key part of the vocabulary when they're designing a home, when they're planning a home, when they're talking about extensions and moving into homes. So I think people now believe how important it is to have some form of structure and organisation within your home.
100%. Yeah, and I think homes are just working so much harder. Like you mentioned, when we go into homes now, you'll find they're functioning as a family home, they're functioning as a home office, they might be functioning as a gym, as a dance studio for a child, whatever it may be. So they're really being put under pressure at the moment. So you might have mom working up in the living room and dad working in the home office, and the last thing that they want to do now is to kind of come into their kitchen and not be able to put their hand on something, or get ready in the morning and not be able to put their hand on something. So I think people value their time now so much more, because we're much busier than we were 10, 15 years ago, and being able to put your hand on what you need quicker instead of wasting time looking for those items in your home are going to make a massive difference to how your day-to-day life goes for everyone.
Completely. And maybe that's the next question, is like, what are the kind of big misconceptions that people have about having an organised home? Like Olive, you mentioned there about the Monica complex, and some people are just naturally that tidy and organised, but for people who aren't, what do you think is the biggest misconception for them about achieving an organised home? What do you think, Kim?
It's different for everyone. So like, there's not a one size fits all rule, definitely not, because everyone lives their life differently. Everyone's morning routine is different, everyone's passion and their hobbies are all different. So every house has different contents, let's say. So what you need to do is kind of think about how you need to live your life, how your kind of routine is, and make sure your house fits that really well. So it's the same, I suppose, when you're trying to plan a house or renovate a room. There's no point in making it look pretty if you've nowhere to store your slow cooker or nowhere to store your air fryer, which are the new banes of our lives at the moment. So you have to kind of think more practical. Like, yes, it's great when the designers come in and they show you the beautiful picture of how your house will look, but then you have to ask yourself the question, is there room for all of my stuff? Definitely.
Would you agree, Olive? And would that be Is that how you approach it? Like if someone comes in and they want to get organised, you have to obviously look at the individual and not just give them a one size fits all.
Yeah, I mean, exactly as Kim said, everybody is different. And let's face it, there are people that live very, very comfortably with a mess. You know, some people do and others don't. And I think what we would generally say to people is look at the area of the house which is the area that's causing you the most frustration, which is the area that really you just put the blinkers on going into the room and it's causing you stress. And that's where you'd start with and say, well, what can we do to improve this space for you? It could be just the fridge, or it could be the laundry room, whatever it is, what we do to help you make this space work a little bit make it a little bit easier for you.
I love that idea of like kind of hot points within the house that probably are a little bit messier or generate more disorganization. Is there like a common space that you see comes up time and time again? Like, is it the fridge or is it the kids' bedroom? Is there an area that really you see time and time again people are like, help?
I'd be interested to see what you say.
Yeah, I know. I think we
thing.
probably have the same two answers, and the answer for us is wardrobes and kitchens, right? And mainly wardrobes. But the issues with the wardrobes are through no fault of storage. It's overbuying stuff. It's too much stuff. Yeah. Hands down. That's the problem. Like obviously there was a lot to be said for the online shopping during COVID, but like we've been into houses where there's just items with tags on, items in packets, never returned, just, you know, kind of not thinking about what they actually need in the wardrobe, just seeing something and going, oh, I'll get that. But what we do is when we take everything out, we do a full declutter, and then we'll put everything back together like for like. So if you do have 15 black cardigans, it's a problem, you know?
You're going to see them.
Yeah, like your 15 black blazers maybe, or beige blazers. If they're stored together, you'll see them. But I definitely think it's a case of like overbuying.
And do you find it hard? Do people, like we were talking about earlier, find it hard to let go?
Not always.
Yeah.
There are clients that it is a bit more difficult to, like they might have sentimental attachments to something, but 9 times out of 10 if they've picked up the phone and they need us to come in, it's because they're really struggling. Good. Exactly. And they're just over full. But definitely kind of pre-planning and talking to an expert on storage is going to make a massive difference.
And then obviously your store has like everything you could possibly imagine to get organised, and especially when it comes to kitchen items, do you think that's an area that people can like focus in on, take items from the shop and then really like recreate a space?
Yeah, absolutely. But like that, we'd say start small. I think what people think is they want to do everything straight away, and that requires commitment, it requires time, it can be very physical, which is why we'd always recommend bringing in the experts to help. So for us, we'd say, look, we start with the small area, and it could be just the fridge, which actually doesn't take a lot to reorganise with the right tools and implements and storage solutions for it. Could be under the sink. In our case, it would be similar, the wardrobe, but also the laundry is constantly a big area of discussion. I think it goes back to the programme with Dermot Bannon, where, you know, the lady was committed, I want my laundry room. So that we're constantly seeing people looking for solutions to create an effective working wash flow essentially for the laundry room. So yeah, for us, we'd say keep it simple, start small, bring containers, start here, and then move on to the next project. And I think the most thing people do is it does require time to sort anything out.
And then once someone has a room sorted out, I guess the next thing then is to actually commit to keeping it that way. So for you, Olive, is there certain things that you would recommend, certain items or certain ways of doing things that like are easy to maintain? Because it's great to have, like you mentioned earlier, Kim, that Instagram worthy moment when everything's sorted, but what about 6 months down the line when life is crazy again?
There's 6 minutes.
That is the reality of it. It's really hard in any house, in any working environment, no matter how big or how small, no matter how many in the house, to keep it realistically that way. But the key thing would be, if you've got a place for everything in its place, if everybody knows where everything goes back to, if everybody knows this is where the shoes go, when you come in the door, this is where the school bags go, this is where the Tupperware goes, I mean, that's the solution. If you have a place for everything to go back to, it does make it easier to maintain a system that you have in place. And realistically, it won't stay neat, but at least it makes it, when the time comes to tidy up or to restructure, you have a system in place that you can return to again and again.
Everyone asks us that question. They're like, oh, your houses must be perfect. I'm sure you get the same
all
line
the
all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it can be. Or what we would usually say is, it's not always. I have 2 kids at home. Lynn has 3. But it can get put back together really simply because like that, everything has a home. Yeah. So even just making sure that everything is all in the one place. So where do the batteries go? They should just have one home. They shouldn't be in multiple places all over the home, or the shoes or the school bags. There just needs to be one designated spot for them, and there's at least some sort of a chance that they'll all arrive there. But if you have a home for everything and a system, a good solid system in place, whether it be with product or just, you know, a designated area for items in the home, it's much easier to tidy up at the end of the day or at the weekend and put it all back together. But it's naturally going to get messy. We did a toy room last week and it was absolutely stunning. I just got a really quick chance to do, I don't think I even got a video, it was a quick photo. Went back into the kitchen, we were unpacking a home, and the daughter arrived home in the meantime, and I swear 6 minutes later I walked in and the mum was like, oh no girls, you don't want to come in. We walked in and there was toys everywhere, but I took a picture just to show that, well, isn't that brilliant? Because then that toy room is now, the daughter was not going into that room, was never using that room prior to us being there. And she was like, well, doesn't that just answer the question? You've literally achieved your goal. She went in there and wanted to play with everything because she could see it and get to it. And,
That's the thing with kids. I think once they can see things, they don't really enjoy, I think, a cluttered space.
No, they
like
really
creating
don't.
the clutter.
Yeah,
absolutely.
They do.
Yeah, but the whole going to be able to find everything, start from scratch, I think is important for kids.
Definitely.
That's a really important misconception to tackle then, is that it doesn't have to be perfect all the time, and our homes are supposed to be lived in and enjoyed, and
100%.
naturally they are going to get messy. But we've heard it here, we have it on the record. If it gets messy, it's okay.
It's fine.
But from what both of you have said, it sounds like it also needs to be a bit of a group effort, especially if it's in a family. Like if you designate certain areas for certain things, it sounds like everyone needs to know that that's the go-to. If it's on one person to do it, it's not going to work. Would you agree? Is it part of like educating everyone about this new way of doing things?
Yeah, and there's no commitment that they'll actually do it. Still in my house, I'm the one that knows where everything is. But at least by putting a structure in place and getting everybody committed to it, does make it a little bit easier. There's, as I said, there's no guarantee that everybody in the house will buy into it, but at least putting the structure there, that's the start.
Yeah, 100%. And there's loads of jobs that children will surprise you, like they'll enjoy doing. Like we played the sock monster at home, so everyone has a big pile of odd socks or box of odd socks or wardrobe full of odd socks, it depends. And the children will absolutely love, dump them on the floor, set a timer and see how many pairs they can make in that time.
I could send them around to my house.
I will.
Yeah, 2 of them in our house.
But I think there's big jobs obviously that adults need to do, but there's also little jobs that the smaller people can get involved in. And I think if you get them involved, then they have more pride and they'll keep on top of it. Not all the time, but
and I think with children, if you can start young,
100%.
It's about developing habits. It's get up out of bed in the morning, let's make the bed, and maybe make a process involved with that. At the end of the day, this is where the uniform goes, this is where the school bag goes, and makes a process. It just means it's habit forming as they get older. I didn't do that with mine too, so this is why I'm easy to be able to say it to you now with younger kids to start. But I do think starting the process young and just these little habits, they do stay with them. Then.
Yeah, you don't have to do it all as mom or dad or whatever it may be. You can delegate, so just don't be afraid to lose control and delegate, and you never know, they might surprise you.
And I love that. Start them young, get them into the habit. Well, we're talking a lot about people who are super disorganized, but I'd love to ask Olive, what about people who are really organized, they've got a place for everything? What are the items that you stock in the organized store that you recommend for people who have the basics done and just want to elevate it? Like, I know you have an amazing wardrobe laundry system that I've been eyeing up, but what are some of your favorite pieces that you love to share?
Honestly, it's really hard to answer this question because we have so many, and it really depends on the individual and depends on where they're looking to organise. For like in a wardrobe, for example, we've a multitude of really, really specific and specialised hangers to reorganise an wardrobe space. So maybe they could look at that. They might have old hangers, so that instantly can transform and create more space in a wardrobe too. We're now all spring cleaning. We're putting away our woolens and our ski gear, perhaps our winter gear. So we've fabulous totes that you can store items in the top of your wardrobe or space bags. Shoes are clear, stackable shoe containers. I think you were looking for them at some stage. They're super popular, and people, when they start with them, they continue. They're basically an acrylic see-through drawer. So we spend so much money on our shoes, on our handbags, on our hats, and then to have them dumped on the ground or in old boxes. So these you can stack and you can see them easily, and people, when they start, they build on them from there on. In the kitchen, anybody who has the pantry, which is super popular all over the country at the moment, and whether that's just a press in the kitchen or the beautiful designer walk-in pantry, we've every solution you can possibly imagine to create the Pinterest where the pantry. I'm very proud of that. And then the laundry room is, of course, and our Alpha systems, which we will have display with a designer wardrobe and a very practical laundry room at the Ideal Home Show. We have a fabulous product that you can hang at the back of a door, and it's inside a door, inside any space, and it basically, you can clip on baskets, pegboard, and people have bought this, use this everywhere. We've used it in so many utility rooms, dressing rooms, wardrobes, home office. So I could keep talking about this. There's so many solutions in
there.
store.
It's incredible.
Yeah. And anybody who comes in, they'll say, "Oh, we didn't know this existed, but this has changed our lives." So it's worth maybe coming in and visiting us either online. We do provide an interior decor service as well for people if they don't really know how to go about the process. But yeah, it's worth popping in and visit us or shop on. We have a great website as well.
It is, but just be careful because once you go in there, you'll start to reimagine your house. So it can be very dangerous, but it's fabulous.
But
and
it's good though, because it's not as if you're buying something with a tag on it that you're getting rid of. You're putting solutions in place that are going to make your life more enjoyable and easier at home. So we would say these are good investments. It's not like you're buying something that you're going to throw out in a year or two. This is something that you're establishing a system that hopefully will make life more enjoyable and stress-free in the home. So it is worth coming in.
Absolutely. And then, of course, you're one half of a wonderful duo. You have your partner, Lynn, helping you. I'd love to ask, when you go into a place, do you guys have like strengths that balance each other out? Do you have very individual takes on things? Or are you both like, this is how we do things, we go in, we tackle? What is the dynamic when you go in?
It's weird. We always say that we can go into a job and leave and may not have even said two words to each other because we naturally gravitate towards certain areas. So everyone says I'm the tough cookie. I don't believe that.
We
but
don't believe that
I
either.
would always be the play the yes-no game with people. So, kind of encouraging them to maybe part with a couple of items. So I'd be like, we need to put all our black cardigans together because that's ridiculous. You don't need 15. And then when they see them, they go, oh my God, I can't believe it, and it becomes fun. So many people are worried before we come in and stressed, which is terrible because they're afraid that we're going to literally force them into getting rid of things. But it's not about that. It's just about asking yourself the question, am I going to wear this again? Do I feel good when I wear it? Or even when it comes to kitchen items, obviously different questions need to be asked. But, have I used it? We find so many of these gadgets that people have picked up and they're great. And they're great if you're actually going to use them. But if they're not, they're just sitting there and they're gathering dust and they're taking up big space in our life, which means everything else is just harder to get to. But no, we kind of naturally gravitate towards our roles. Lynn's like the colour coordinator. Like I would never step on her toes there. Like I'll have started it and she'll just see her slide in behind me and I've done something slightly wrong.
And the customers afterwards go, wow, this has made such a difference to us.
Oh, the after value is incredible. The after value initially is brilliant because obviously you get that great reaction of the before and the after because we kind of kick them out and keep them away until we're finished that point. But it's the after value. It's every now and again you'll just get this message out of nowhere and be like, oh my God, I was packing for such and such and it was so easy to grab my holiday stuff, or it was, so easy to do X, Y and Z, and that's brilliant. That's what we love here and that's what gives us the kick.
People don't know how to start the process.
No, 100%. It's like you said, when you walk into your shop, it's like, wow, it's Aladdin's cave, it's fantastic, but it does start the bug, right? Even if you just leave with one product and you might go home and do one drawer, that gets you going, and you're all of a sudden going, what else can I do? And it's the
why
same.
did I wait so long to
Exactly.
start this?
And it's the same when we leave. Every single house we've ever left, you'll get a message to say, oh my God, I tackled the such and such room myself. Sometimes they'll even send you pictures, which is brilliant. But it's definitely kind of, it's a process. You have to start small or, make a small commitment and it will roll over and it'll continue and it'll kind of spread throughout the house, which is fantastic.
Well, it's such an amazing service, but I'd love to talk about some of the myths around it. I know you guys are great about doing this on your social media, but there are myths around what you guys actually do. So for those who have never heard of a social fair, can you talk us through what would a standard call out look like?
Okay, so a standard call out would be, let's say we're brought to a kitchen. It's just not working well for a family and it's not working well, or it's not functioning, let's say. Kitchens are all great and they all have the same, presses and sinks and the basics, but every house is different and every house's needs are different. So what we will do is we'll take absolutely everything out. We'll put all the cups together, the glasses together, the free chopsticks that you got from the Chinese restaurants together, all those little things, and then we'll go through it with the homeowner. And usually it's so quick actually in kitchens because so many things are buried at the back. They can't access to them, so they're not using them. You know, they're not rotating either. So stuff's going into the dishwasher and coming back out and going straight in. They're not thinking about stuff in the back because they can't access it through bad storage. Invisible, genuinely. So we go through it, figure out what they want, what they love. Do they bake? No. Why have you got all this bacon stuff? Oh, well, I thought I might, you know, that kind of way. So trying to eliminate the items that they don't need anymore and passing them on to a new home. That's a big thing we're, you know, so passionate about. We make sure we find a home for all the items as best we can, or we recycle them. Nothing is going in the bin. So many people are worried about that, you know, like, oh, you're going to put everything in the bin or everything in the skip. No. Like that dress that you've just donated could be off to the Trinity Ball. You know, that it's fascinating when we've done drops to Lorraine Keane's Fashion Relief. There'd be girls in there, and there was once 3 girls in there, and they were trying on outfits and they were heading off to the Trinity Ball, and I was like, how cool is that? So I use that story a lot when I'm doing wardrobes with people, and I'd explain to them, like, those items are just sitting there gathering dust. You're not going to wear them. Give them another chance to dance, as I always say. Genuinely could be, you know, someone's ball or someone's graduation or a wedding, you know, like, and I do think that visual helps people. But the majority of our job is helping people declutter. It's kind of more fun when you're doing it with someone else. If you sit there and try and do it on your own, it can be a little bit overwhelming, and it can be a little bit stressful, and it can kind of bring
people to have that have emotional
connections. That's it. Yeah, because they're going to hang on to it. Whereas we might ask just one simple practical question, and they'll go, actually, yeah, no, I don't. You know, that kind of way. So it's a lot of decluttering, and then just putting systems in place, using product or designated areas for items, like the very simple one of tea, coffee, kettle. They should be really close together. You'd be amazed the amount of houses, the teacups are here, the coffee's there, and the kettle's there. Like, that just takes an extra 5 minutes of your morning. So sometimes when we open a press and they go, oh my God, it's all together. And I'm like, yeah, it's just little things, but sometimes you just can't see. You know, you can't see your space
people
yourself.
In their house
they
as
do,
well.
they do. And they just... You just get fed up sometimes, and just sometimes it's just you need to ask for help.
And that's so true. And you do, and I love that idea of going blind in your own house, because you do just get used to doing things a certain way, sometimes for years. And actually you need that fresh pair of eyes to say there's a better way to do this. I love that you mentioned that you don't have any waste from homes, because that's so important, and sustainability is something that's obviously so important to me and becoming more important to all of us. So I love that you touched on that, which brings me to you, Olive. Have you seen attitudes change towards sustainability when it comes to the store?
Oh, huge amount. Over the last 10 years, and particularly over the last 5 years, I've seen a massive change in a really positive manner. From the simple, I would say from the consumer point of view, it's great because now they have more choice when they go out, what they choose to purchase that they're going to use in their life or bring into their home, from even the lunch boxes. You know, historically, you just had one type of Tupperware, and now you've got long-lasting recyclable containers, you've got glass, you've got food wraps, you've got anything stainless steel that makes food on the go, whether it's for your child or for yourself going to work. Stainless steel straws, glass straws, reusable cutlery, all of these things on a very simple basis. Then moving on to within the kitchen, you know, years ago we only had one type of recycling bin. Now there's every shape and size of recycling bin out there, and composting bin, from your 3 litre to your 7 litre to biodegradable or composting bags. And that was never available 10 years ago, and these are readily available for people now. For people who are choosing to clean, we've got so many more products now that don't use the harsh chemicals, or if you choose to make your own product in the house, we've got great containers that you can use that become the spray container with your own homemade solution for cleaning in the home. And I think now more than ever, because we're talking about, you know, cutting back on saving water, reducing the amount of consumption of heat and light, and particularly because it's so costly, you know, particularly in the laundry, and people are choosing when to put on their wash cycles, or if they're choosing to dry the product, not using the dryer. We've got so many products in our store now that's available for people, not just the massive big clothes horse of past, but lovely convenient products that you can pop away afterwards for drying your clothes, so meaning people are not using consumption energy so much. So, and I think the thing is, people are so much more aware of it and are making a conscientious choice. And also, from our point of view, dealing with our manufacturers and our suppliers, they're aware of it, and they're making big choices in the products they use in the manufacturing, the process that they use in the manufacturing, and the products that are available for people to bring into their homes. And yeah, I think it's been a massive change, and I think it will continue to evolve, and there'll be more choice available for people, not just in the homewares that we provide, but in the fast fashion, in, you know, even in people in their homes choosing to have, rather than the quick furniture, you know, recycling and upcycling furniture has been a huge thing. So I think it's been very positive, and I think it will continue to grow.
And by its very nature, it's so interesting, like what both of you provide. I think it helps people consume less. Like Kim, you mentioned about the 100 bags of shopping that most haven't been opened or worn. When you can see what you have, you actually don't need a lot more. You can see exactly where the gaps are, if necessary. I think that's so important to
And
highlight.
even from a packaging point of view, like, you know, if whether it's a pantry or a press, if you imagine your items are in clear containers, for instance, you can see at a glance, okay, I need pasta, I don't need rice. So it just gives you that visual, so that when you are in the shops and you haven't done the list, you have that visual because you can see them. And then all these shops that are popping up, it's brilliant. Like, you know, you can just bring your container straight down. I mean, even they're popping up everywhere. And I have always said this to Leigh, I was like, I'm telling you now, this is going to be the future. Like, people will be walking into Dunn's or wherever it may be with their glass containers and filling up their products and just eliminating as much kind of packaging and waste as possible.
Yes, and I think that from the more the consumers put pressures on the retailers like us or the Dunn's, etc., the more we have to react to that and satisfy the consumer that when they're coming in, we're providing solutions for them, whether it's reducing food waste, like containers that you have in your fridge that, you know, have vents that you can preserve the long life of the food. It's important for us that we're staying ahead of that and making sure that we have solutions for customers. So when they make the choice, that there is solutions out there for them.
I love that, and it really comes back to being at a stage now where it's exciting and people are like activated and excited. And one thing that I remember from the last time I was in the shop was what you talked about, the bins. Like, can you remember how ugly recycling bins were? And the bins that you have are so beautiful. They're like a piece of furniture for the kitchen. So we're at a really exciting time where, like you mentioned, having glass containers and these beautiful visuals in our kitchen. It all feeds
people
into
say
that.
that to us all the time. Oh, it's very Instagram, and I was like, no, it's actually very practical. You know, everyone thinks glass containers or whatever it may be, you know, but it's not. You can see, like, you open a press and I can see what I have, or I can see what I need. Well, it stands for any room in the house, even for toy storage or wardrobe storage or sports storage. You can see where the tennis racket is. You can see, oh my God, I've no pasta, especially if your children survive on pasta, which mine certainly do. If that runs out, it's a problem. So it's just about making everything visual as well. So it's not an Instagram-worthy home, it's a practical.
But the great thing about the Instagram and the social media, it's bringing these homes to our homes in Ireland. People are seeing, you know, the Kardashian homes or whatever, these fabulous homes, no matter how big, and thinking, actually, that's something that I can achieve with the clear canister, you know, in their homes. I can do the same in my home. So for people who don't have vision or don't know how to go about it, it really is showing them how achievable and not expensive it is to put these solutions or systems in place to make their homes instant worthy or Pinterestable, whatever it is, but at the same time practical as well.
Lots of inspiration on Instagram. It's great.
Oh, you can get lost in a rabbit hole. I'd love to talk on something that both of you touched about earlier, and that comes back to this idea of having space. And I think a lot of the time, as a renter myself, when we think of people creating these beautiful organised homes, we think, oh, I have to be a homeowner, I have to have lots of different rooms and different spaces. But for someone who's maybe living in an apartment, I'm sure both of your services apply to them too. And actually, in fact, if you're living in a small space and it's cluttered, there's even more value in it. So what suggestions would you have for someone who is maybe feeling a little bit stuck, or it's not their forever home and they're thinking, well, can I really achieve that? What do you think, Kim?
Like, there's so many products that you can get that you can take with you. Like, it doesn't have to be a new fitted kitchen or whatever, especially products that we can pick up in your shop. You just take them out and you bring them with you to your next space, or you take them out and you reuse them in another space in the home, which is great. So you might think, oh, why would I invest in organising a rented home or, you know, a space that I don't own? But if you're clever about what you invest in, you can take it all with you. Do you know, that kind of way? Like, obviously my motto is going to be declutter, declutter, declutter all the time. But if it's silly, but if you do it regularly, it will help you keep on top of the space that you have. It will make you kind of reassess what storage solutions you might need kind of down the line, like shoe storage, or, you know, there's obvious ones when you're in a rental accommodation that aren't maybe going to be included in the space that you have. So I'm sure you have tons of great ones.
People with rented accommodation are huge for us in the store, and it's constantly problems that they would have. I'm in a rented accommodation, I cannot fix anything to the wall, I cannot change the pine colours, what can I do to give me a bit more space? And That's something we deal with every single day. So there's everything from just a simple 3M hook that you can put on a wall to take off. You know, it doesn't have to be a massive investment, but straight away you've got the storage of the jackets or your jewellery or whatever it would be, down to, as you said, investing wisely. You know, every kitchen, whether it's this kitchen or your future kitchen, is going to have an under the sink, is going to have a fridge, is going to have over the cooker. So putting solutions in your current can easily transcend to where you'll end up as well. Students in accommodation here coming from the country that are from abroad that are coming to Ireland, every September we're inundated in October with students trying to get solutions for their new homes that are practical and space saving. So again, it's like that you don't have to make the massive, it's not like you're buying a couch or you're buying something massive, you're buying simple, good quality solutions that you can bring with you to whatever your final home is going to be.
And I know if you call into the shop, you'll see you even have different sizes of things, so you can maybe grow whatever you need depending on the size of your home. So
and most of these products are multifunctional as well.
Yeah.
You know, something that becomes a shoe storage can be the jewellery storage or vice versa. So most of our products are transient, that you don't have to do what it says on the tin. It can be used for many other purposes as well. So yeah.
I'll be plugging into both of you for my own ideas after this. But I'd love to get to the follower questions, because I did post a question box and I was inundated, which I think really speaks to what we spoke about earlier, which is that people are ready. It's springtime, we're ready for a little bit of inspiration, we're doing a clear out. So I'd love to ask you both some of the questions that we got sent in. Any advice on how to help children put things away at the end of the day? Labels don't work for my really smallies. Now, we touched a little bit on the kids situation, but Olive, maybe we'll start with you. Any suggestions for keeping that children's room clean? And
well, I think what we said earlier, and it has to be fun for kids, I think. And again, if, like I said, if you can start young, and it's about habit forming. But again, it's about children, no matter what age, and older adults, it's if they have a place to put everything back to. So if they know this is where the school bag goes, if they know this is where the shoes goes, if they know in the toys, this is where the Lego goes in this drawer, the craft goes in this drawer. So putting solutions in place for them and making it fun and habit forming for them. I mean, you've got younger children, so you can speak from experience.
It's a real life problem for me. And you know what? They don't always get it right. We would use labels as well that don't just have the word written on them. You can get pictures, or you could print off a picture of Lego and cut it out and get the children involved, get them kind of crafty and have them label the area. But it's just about, like you say, habits. You know, the more they go and put the Lego, or you show them or help them put the Lego back in that section, the more they will naturally be able to do that themselves. But again, making it really visual. So like if you go in and you're shopping for containers, maybe don't get something that's coloured and that's going to hide everything, because children like to be able to see what they have. They get overwhelmed if they're just staring at a load of boxes, you know, that kind of way. So trying to, you know, encourage them to be able to see what they have. And toy rotation as well is a really good one. So, you know, there's so much. They do get so much. Birthdays, Christmas, all those kind of things. So maybe kind of just switching them over every now and again, so when they do come into the space, it's almost like it's a brand new toy in a brand new space. But get them involved, get them crafty. If labels don't work, then I would say let them kind of do a little DIY version. I mean, for a really fun activity as well to do.
That's fantastic. She's got a nice weekend ahead of her after that advice. Olive, best budget containers that you stock?
So it depends. If it's for food, we've got such a big range of the long-lasting plastic containers that are very, very good value. Sistema is a really good brand from New Zealand. We have a huge range in relation to that, just not for lunch on the go, but for storing your flours, your pastas, etc. So they're really well priced. But containers could also be for, you know, the utensils in the drawer. It could be for the makeup. We have a wide range, again, some long-lasting containers, studio basket, huge sizes, again, all available on our website. Then as you move up in budget, we have a big range from the Home Edit series that we carry in store that are more see-through, so they are a little bit more expensive, but obviously they last a lot longer. So we've a huge range. It's hard for me to spot one, but we've enough. We like to think we've enough in store that can tick everybody's budget, and no matter who it is that comes into the store. So
I love that, and also a great reminder that you are online, so that follower can go on, look at the different prices, and they can figure it out before they maybe call out to have a look, which is brilliant. So this is for both of you. What do you say to people who think a professional organizer is just like a cleaner?
Oh, no, we got that wrong.
Yeah, they did get that wrong. But to be honest, they also go hand in hand, as me and Lynn always say, because like cleaners and organisers are basically like sisters or best friends.
Yeah.
You can't do one without the other, to be honest. So
that makes sense.
there's no use in me going in and decluttering a kitchen and leaving the dust and the grime that's been left behind. We do clean, we do wipe down, but that's just... It's just an automatic response to dust, and like our favourite thing at the end of the day when we finish, we always say to someone, when you hear the Hoover going, you know we're done, because it's just politeness. It's like when you get a joiner into your house and he does a bit of work, he'll most likely ask for a sweeping brush or he'll ask for a Hoover because he's just tidying up after themselves. They are very similar, but very different also, that kind of way. But one does go with the other. In order to be able to clean your home, it needs to be organised. You need to be able to get everything off the ground to Hoover and mop. And if you didn't have a good system and a good org,
it's very physical.
It is.
Well. Yeah, the whole process of decluttering, it's a huge physical amount of work to it. So it's hard job that everybody wants.
It's not just pretty arranging things on shelves. Like there's an awful lot of, like you say, physical work with the declutter and getting everything out of the house. We take everything with us, by the way. So if someone's donating stuff to charity, we'll take it and we'll look after that, because the last thing we want to do is leave it behind us, because it might just creep back into the wardrobe or creep back into the kitchen presses. But the cleaning, organising thing doesn't offend us at all. As I say, we're like sisters or best friends, and they go hand in hand together. And you can't have one without the other.
Olive, this one is going to speak to so many Irish women up and down the country. The best product to sort out makeup, and she stores it in a drawer.
Oh, right, okay. Again, we have a very nice range, and the first thing about what type of drawer. Is it a shallow drawer? Is it a deep drawer? In a shallow drawer, we have a fabulous product from the Home Edit range, which is angled and it's expandable. So great, so it means your tall items can lie flat, but because it's tiered, you can put other items behind it, so everything is visible. I think there was a really good girl who did an Instagram program on our Instagram page this week on that, and how she'd organise the IKEA drawers, which are very difficult to get product into, and she got loads in it and everything could be seen. And the deeper drawers, we've lovely stackable containers from Orthex. You can pop the container in and put a lid on it and sit product on top of that. So you get a lot in that, which means that everything that you're using daily, you've access to, but also the items that you've used a long time, you can take the container out and bring it to your counter and bring it back again. So either of those items would work really well in a drawer.
I love that, and the idea again that you can see what you have, because so many of us are guilty of thinking, I need a new foundation, and no, you actually still have two that you haven't opened. So again, being able to see everything, even if it is in a drawer. That's amazing. Well, ladies, that's all the questions we got, and honestly, there's so much food for thought there, I think, for everyone. You'll both be at the Ideal Home Show, so we can't wait to see you there. What would you say to people who are maybe thinking about coming along to talk to you? What would you suggest that they come and see you for? I guess for you, all of just the amazing product that you'll have on display.
Yeah, we'll have on display a designer walk-in wardrobe using our Alpha shelving system. It's a fantastic system, and also very practical home laundry, also using the Alpha shelving system. So I say to people, we do provide free design service across Ireland. So if you have plans, or even just bring your measurements with you, we're very happy to talk to you on site, or you can email them into us at info@organisedstore.ie, and it doesn't matter where you are in the country. We provide designs and we send solutions all over Ireland. So, but please do, it's worth coming in to either visit us at the show or in the store.
Amazing. Kim and Lynn, you'll be there too?
It's a great opportunity with the Ideal Home Show to talk to so many different experts. So whether it's something like that we can help with, or it's just what I would say is, don't be afraid to talk to people. We had so many messages after the last show of going, oh, I seen you there, but I didn't come up and say hello. So what I would say to people is, don't be shy, introduce yourself, talk to who you want to talk to. You literally have so many experts at your fingertips, all in the one space. It's a very rare occasion. So I would say to people to take advantage and not be shy and come up and say hello to absolutely everyone that you want to.
Oh, I can't wait. I'll be seeing you there anyway. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Jo.
Thank you.
That's all the time we have for today. A massive thank you to Olive and Kim for taking part in the first permanent TSB Ideal Home Show Meet the Experts panel discussion, and for their fabulous advice. We can't wait to see you at the show this year. You can meet Olive and her team at stand M35 to start your home organisation journey. The Organised Store offers quality products to help you organise every room in your home, including products for an organised kitchen, bedroom, wardrobe, bathroom, wine cellar, kids space, home office, garage, as well as Alpha specialised shelving and wine storage showrooms. Olive will be chatting to me on Friday 21st at 1:20 p.m. at the DFS Interiors Theatre, so please come along. If you're wondering what's your thing when it comes to picking key furniture pieces, make sure you visit the DFS Interiors Inspiration Theatre. You can see rooms set to inspire, designed by creative director of Ashen and Cloud, Susan McGowan, founder of the Interiors NRD Studios and author Natasha Rocca-Devine, fashion influencer Yvonne Mellon of Y Style, and content creator Sarah Battle of House by the Whitethorns. Today's beautiful set was styled by Stages Lifestyle, who offer a beautiful range of furniture and sustainable homewares. Their services include interior design and home staging. And I can't wait to see you all at the DFS Interiors Theatre. I'll be there every day of the show interviewing a fantastic lineup of industry leaders and experts, including QS Patricia Power and Hugh Wallace. Topics will include interior design trends, decor, home makeovers, home extensions, upcycling, finance, and lots more. And finally, don't forget there's an early bird offer of 2 free adult tickets for a day of your choice. This is only available for a very limited time, so make sure you register for your tickets as soon as possible at idealhome.ie.